All right, what is up, guys? Happy Friday. For those of you that don't know, one of my big rules is that I have in my journal, I do not trade on Fridays. I did last Friday, and as I was telling the group here, my son just, was begging to trade last Friday because we missed a couple of days of trading. And I was like, all right, we'll jump on. But today he didn't mention it. And on Fridays, I don't even look at the charts before market open because I know if I do, I'll see something and then I'll get on it. So I always allow myself 11 o'clock to pass and then I jump on. So here we are. And I just sit here and watched a $25,000 day disappear in front of me. But, rules is what has kept me where I'm at. Rules is what has kept the account where it's at. Currently, account's setting an equity of 61,523. We're still in those XRP longs that we're holding. So that's what's got us there. But anyhow, it's where we're at. But man, this would have been a $20,000 trade. So if to show you guys what we were looking at on this trade, like I said, 30-minute is where I was trading. So if you're trading on the 30-minute, obviously this was your swing high, and then you needed that structure. And on this, the structure would have been these candles right there. So our structure would have had our swing high here. As we know, with that swing high, you would not have went up like this. There's no way. So we'd have had to wait for this structure to come down to see if we were going to fall further. And if so, we would never had a trade to come into. If this candle here would have just slammed on down, we would have had no structure to catch that trade. So once it didn't break and we got that nice little structure push back up, now we've got something that gives us a better angle on our candle, on our trend. So that would have been it right there. That would have been the trend line we've been looking for, which, you can take your trend lines and jump to other swing lows to see, okay, that would have been a good trade. All right, that would have been almost there. So it almost lines up. Like we can see here, we put it right there. You can see you're almost on that trend. So we know that's a good trend line. So drop back there. So your entry would have been right there. So we can take and go like that, and boom, there's your break. So that break would currently have you setting it around 173 pips in profit, knowing this right here is your TP1 because we have that swing low marker that's setting really nice right there. So there's TP1. All right, so you're able to cut half of your profits right there, which would have been 145 pips. That's a solid trade. Now, if we're trading on the 1 minute, the 1 minute setup was extremely early entry and easy for us to get in. Again, we're not looking for buys. Looking at this trade on the 1 minute and the 30, there's no way we're looking for buys. So the way that we'd have set this up, we'd have said we're looking for sells. Right here's our swing high. So even if you got in on that trade right there, you had a quick little scalp, nothing big, 19 pips. And then it would have come and knocked you back out because you'd have protected your entry, obviously. So at that point, we're like, all right, we're looking for sells now. You got a swing high. As soon as we get that swing high painted, we know we better hurry up and find structure. So our structure is easy. If we're doing that, if we're doing dot to dot, which is not a pretty dot, but it still gets us there. If you're utilizing the dots for your horizontal zone breaks, then right there is your break. Put that top one down a little bit right there. And you can see that it broke and retested and slammed down. So when you took this trade, the trend line break would have been the cleanest. However, utilizing these for zones would have been just about as clean, but that would have been your entry. And you're currently setting at 276 pips. So for me, you guys know I said $75 to $80 a pip, and that would put me at $22,080 on that trade. Man, that sucks to swallow, but I'll make that next week, so we're good to go. But yeah, that's the setup. Swing high, swing low, set that trend up. We're looking for sells. Even if you got in the buys, even if you were doing a connect the dot to dot and creating a little wedge, that was still a solid run. You were still able to take advantage of 64 pips. So even if I'd have caught even if you caught the buy, that's still a solid trade. But the sells is what we've been looking at for this as many times as, we've seen this thing buy up. And then again, will buy up and get rejected. So then again, the other thing that I want you guys to look at is the daily. So the daily, we had that swing low marker, and we found all that structure there. If you guys remember, we were looking at this based on price not breaking out of that zone. And I said, whenever we get an all-time high on a daily and it closes, what do we do? Click sell. So for those of you that got on the trend line break markup that I gave for the daily, you're currently setting at 608 pips. And as you can see on that first break right there, price has not even come back up and tested it. So super, super good trade. We do have the 200 moving average down here. And I mean, it's going towards it, obviously. That's what it does. But we've got a zone that we're going to be very cautious of right about there. I was saying right there on the daily. So where that wick come down and touched right here on this break, and then where we have these zones right here, this is going to be a pivotal point. If we break this, then we'll get a nice hit on that 200. If we hit this and bounce up, then we're going to go back and probably retest this zone right there. But nonetheless, man, this is solid trade, textbook trading to a T. And the only thing that we're utilizing is dots, trend line breaks. That's it. We're keeping it stupid simple. There's no going back and looking at what history's done prior. There's no, Fibonacci's and MACDs and RSIs and, all this stuff. We keep it blank. We keep it naked with little bitty dots. So let's look at these other trades that we marked up. So we got EN. So we marked up EN. EN did us nasty. We were looking for the break, hit break, and then slam back up. So EN, we would have lost this trade. Excuse me. Because if we measure out the pips of our break, we only got a maximum. We did get a maximum of 29 pips. So, I mean, you could have protected at the 25 range, but it would have been very, very close. You'd have had to have quick trigger fingers on that one. Hold on one second here. I just got a message. All right, we're good. If we look at our GU trade, GU trade, man, was great. We got in the sell and ran it all the way down. We had plenty of pips to protect. And then what do I tell you guys? If you have a trend up here and it never breaks that trend for your buys, but then we get that trend for the sells, especially with GU, and there's a whole video of this somewhere on YouTube, then you take it for the buys as soon as it breaks. And there it broke trend and went through every single zone that we had marked up for our buys. So we had your TP1, your TP2, you're well protected. So GU is a solid trade. ODU, we were looking for the sells. Right there was our sells. We had plenty of time to protect in there before it balled up. So solid trade on that one. And then this was one that Kurt was looking at where he was talking about, he's talking about GBP odd and was like, man, I just don't see buys. I don't see buys all day. But he got a buy notification in the EA that he utilizes. And the buy notification actually happened right there in his computer. And it's like, well, what it's seeing is it's seeing a zone. And this is a zone right here that's breaking out of. And it broke clearly right there after trend. And it's currently setting at 95 pips. So super good trade there. But I don't care what anybody says. The US30 trade is still my most favorite trade we've had. We've had a lot of good trades these last 2 weeks on just these clean breaks. I mean, where you've got it to where it literally is just clean setup, slams down, 30-minute again, didn't get you in as early, but bam, right there, broke, slammed down. This was the daily entry up here when we got that swing high. So if you got in on that daily break, come on, what did I just do to my computer? I break it. There we go. If you got in on the daily break, we didn't mark the daily break up until like right here. So we had that swing high. That's where it painted that daily candle. And then boom, it broke. I would have entered it on candle open, which would have been right there. So I would have experienced that drawdown. Man, that trade break right there. And look at that, 635 pips. So question just come in. Andy, Why are you still not holding that trade if you got in on that day break? Well, I did get in on that day break, posted the video. However, I did something that I typically don't do, but it is part of my rule book when I have a trade on a daily. So if I take a trade based on daily volume, pushing down, I set a TP. The reason I set a TP is because normally on those dailies, when you get that big push, you get a big push and then you get a big wick back. So if you look at the daily, and this is a good example, so I'm glad you asked that question. See how these wicks just come down on that daily and then wick right back up. And I mean, you can measure those wicks. I mean, they're solid. I mean, that's 210. It's 210 pip wick on that wick right there. It's 379 pips. So when you have those daily wicks like that, it can really mess you up. So for me, I went to bed and I said, man, if we get a big push, it's probably going to push down. It's going to retest this prior right there that we got, and then it's going to wick right back up. So my TP was set right here for the whole trade, and it smacked it. I mean, just smacked that TP and just kept driving, which sucks because if I would have been sitting at the computer, as you guys know, I'd have closed half my profits and left my runner. And this runner up here has not even been touched. And my runner on that trade would have been, because I entered that one, I'd already closed out some profits from the break up. I think because I got in the cells up here where I posted that we're just going into cells, and then I closed partial, got back in that one. So that would have been my second entry. So I entered that one at $20 per pip. So I mean, my runner would have been $10 per pip. So I mean, at $10 per pip at 624 pips. Yeah, and a little over $6,000. So not bad. But I think the drop that we're seeing now, let's see, this drop here before it started coming up was 269 pips. And this drop that we have right there is 300. Yeah, so the drop that we're having today is actually a much bigger drop than what we had last night. And obviously that's just, the news that came out yesterday, saying that, if you've got employees of over $100, $100 people, they're going to require mandatory vaccines. And the Dow Jones was working off the economy, and we can spin it however we want to. So we can spin news of, well, we're doing X, Y, and Z to better the economy over here. And then it's like, well, the normal people, which are us, we're not going to understand what the government's trying to do. So they can spin it to where they can still drive the price up because of something that they assume or think. With this, there's no good way to spin it. With this, it is simply, your investors are looking at this saying, okay, so if everyone that has a company over 100 people, what's that about to yawn, has to be mandatory vaccinated, what is that going to do to the workplace? Okay, well, there are some people who say, well, I'm just not going to work there anymore. So they just quit. All right. So if you've got a company of 100 people and you say that, and then you've got 30 people that walk out on you, that's going to affect your company, which can affect the economy. I mean, it's a big deal. So that news coming was crazy, and it was shorts all day. Speaking of which, I've got a message. This guy real quick. So give me one second, guys. Let's see. Let's get this here. Let's see. It'd have been 35049. Sorry, one of my if you guys remember, I used to have the carbon black plan. Some of y'all may remember that on the PIP Connect, and it was a true like one-on-one mentorship for 6 months. And I had a couple of people that signed up for it, which I didn't think they would, because it was stupid expensive. I basically put it out there to appease people who wanted me to have that plan, and I had people sign up for it. And this is one of the guys that signed up for it, and he did really good. he was asking me, he was like, what was that break that you were looking at? And I was like, well, the break that I was looking at, if you were looking at selling, when we zoned up, would have been the 350.049. And he was like, man, I got in sales at 350.051. I think that was a good entry. I'm like, bro, I think that was a solid entry. So getting back to him, let's see here. I gotta get one more thing out, and then we will get started back on this video. So how's everybody doing? Throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat. Let's see. And come on. Wonder how else trading went. Let's see. Doing great. A great day just studying these charts. Good. Caught nice AU buys this morning off the 30-minute break dot. Caught the US30 drop. Heck yeah, man. And I mean, this thing could drop. I mean, a ton more. I mean, to be honest, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. We got to swing low. So, I mean, you don't have much structure, but that is a solid trend line right there. So, I mean, with that swing low, again, for us to take ourselves, we look for a swing high. So we don't have a swing high. So this is a good example of talking about things repainting. So with this swing low, we don't have a swing high. So we wouldn't be looking for sells yet. We would need a swing high to come up and repaint. That way we know that it's given us that push, and then we build our structure. But with today's falls, if you were trying to be risky, and when I say risky, this is high risk, then I mean, right there's your wick, your candles are setting on it, and you wait for price to hit that and fall. And that's it. But I mean, it's a quick move because that is the zone it's got to break if it falls. So if it breaks trend right there, I mean, it's literally a 23 pip move that you're waiting on for it to go past that. Extremely high risk though. So keep that in mind. Hey, you're not the only one that wishes you entered cells. I mean, I sit here and look at this, and you know, it's like, man, these are those days. This is like I said, right now, a $20,000 day for me. Simple. And when I say simple, I mean, you're talking about making $20,000 in a matter. I'd have closed out as soon as we had that resistance, 291 pips. So, I mean, in an hour and a half, so $20,000 an hour and a half, no one's complaining about that. And this is clock. This stuff right here is clockwork. And even if you're utilizing the method that I started out showing Lawson, which if you guys don't know, that's my 7-year-old son, is you're doing your zones. And that way you don't even have to worry about trend lines. You don't even have to worry about if you're getting the right trend. You don't even have to worry about if you're hitting the right candles or wicks or bodies or anything like that. All you're doing is mapping out this zone. So when you have these zones right here and you see price coming into that New York session, you're like, all right, if price breaks this, if price gets in between here and starts pushing up, I'm entering the trade. If price gets in between here, I enter the sell. So you enter the trade, boom. And 25 pips we're protecting, close out half. Bam, you're at 53 pips. All right. So even that trade there on that push, if we were sticking to the simple rules of 25 pips, close out half, protect your entry, you made 25 pips, you got knocked out. No big deal. This zone is still valid right here that you see for sales. So when this price comes down, hits that, breaks, bam, now you're in sales. So you were in buys, now you're in sales. And then as soon as you get in those sales, you got well past your 25 pips that you're able to close half, protect, and then boom, you're letting that sucker run and you're still sitting in this trade. Even if you were utilizing buy stops and sell stops, you call it, your buy stop would be at the top one right here, and your sell stop would be at the bottom at this one here. And guess what? You call it both. Boom, protect that entry, slide it up, boom, protect. Bam, slams back down, boom, it knocked you out of that one in profit. You didn't lose any money. Ding, hits that one. Now you're running. So, I mean, this one here was a beautiful trade coming into the market. 128 int. Said I lost bad. This trade took a buy and it dropped. So I don't know how long you've been with us or if you've watched me trade live, but if you're taking buys, as soon as you get into profit, always protect your entry. With something like this, we're taught to, if we take this entry, our stop loss would have been right here at these prior zones. If you're taking the entry on the 1 minute, so that means if you took that entry, then right there's your stop loss. You got 41 pips of stop loss, and you lost that trade to only be in profit. So always, the one thing that I'm always big on, move your stop losses into profit. And I can tell you right now, the number one thing I hear when I say that is, but that means if the trade comes back and knocks it out, Andy, I lost that trade. Bro, listen to yourself. If it comes back down and hits that stop loss at your entry, I will lose that trade. So then what you're telling me is you're okay with drawdown. That's cool. People love being in drawdown. I don't, because I hate having to manage drawdown. I hate even losing a trade. So if I'm protecting my entry and I've closed out half my profits, I'm winning. And then I can make the other move, because as soon as it closed me out, I've got a sell stop right there at the bottom of that zone. Bam, goes all the way to the bottom, smashes it. So just be sure to protect those entries. Protecting those entries is so important. So now we are waiting for structure so we can take another trade route. Well, I mean, if that's what you're looking for, then yes, all day. With me, Friday's not my thing. Boom, there we go, right there. So that was your entry. If you're trying to take this high risk trade, it was right there on that little wick. And watch, you'll be able to see what it did. So see, if I'm trading wick in that trade, if you're trading candle close, you got to wait for a candle to close below this trend line. So I'll just, for giggles, that right there would have been my entry, with this right here being where I close out. Close out, protect, see where it runs. And this is a high risk entry. From a scale from a 1 to a 10, this is a straight up 10. But you guys will get to see, what ends up happening with these trades. So when you're trying to scalp, and this right here is called a scalp. I mean, you're trying to scalp on something where you don't have your swing high. You're trying to get in real quick and get out. You've got this other zone matched out down here. And then remember that this is a trend line. This is why it's a high risk. Being this trend line, we said that break, and all we got was a little wick through there. With this break, that's also a trend line that it can bounce up off of and ride all the way to the top. So that is why it's high risk. But that's why I also say trade candle close for you guys, and it's less of a risk. So boom, there was your candle close right below it. So boom, you click sell right there. And then that's the end result of your trade down here. And that's if you're just trying to get in on that quick scalp. That is not something that I would recommend for anyone, because it's trades like this that get you in trouble and get you in drawdown and pulling your hair out on a Friday. Let's see here. And let's see here. So for someone starting to really try to just focus on this template, would you just focus right now on the 1 minute or 30 minute? I mean, it's whatever you feel comfortable with. I really, as you guys saw, the 30 minutes clean, but the 30 minute also did not enter as quickly as the 1 minute. But the biggest issue is by entering those quick, having those quick entries on the 1 minute, it also can put you in that tight situation where you don't have much time to really react. So, I mean, again, on that 30 minute, there's your structure. And I mean, it was a clean break, super, super clean break. So it's whatever looks good to you. I'm a 1 minute guy, but everything that me and Lawson basically have been doing have been on the 30 minutes. We'll switch back and forth. We'll look at the 1 minute and the 30 minute, but any one of those two time frames for US 30 is really, really good. About to do a challenge to get funded 50K. Have to gain 10%, can't lose more than 10%, risk 1% on each position. Sounds like a good idea. Or do you think I should risk less? I mean, 1% is good. On this account here that we started up, I was entering every time because this was a high risk, account that we wanted to grow and have fun with. So we were risking roughly anywhere from 5 to 10% when we first started out from the get-go. But keep in mind, it's our own capital, so there's no rules. So without those rules, you can create more risk for yourself, knowing that, cool, if I screw this up, it's all good. So 1% is ideal, because remember, if you're risking 1%, like so today, if you're trading US 30 and you're looking for those sells right there, and you're like, all right, I want to risk 1%. So if I get into this sell right there, and this is the reason I love the dots, okay? If you've got a pen and paper, you guys better write this down, because this, I'm about to teach you how you can over leverage the crap out of US 30 and make a lot of money without having to worry about losing a ton of money. I'm about to show you right now. This is probably the best thing I'm ever going to show you guys. All right. So if you enter the break right here on this trade, okay, when you enter this, your stop loss, I'm not looking for the stop loss up here, because remember, we always say market open does not create structure for us. Okay. There's no structure in market open. There's no structure in this. Okay. When we got the swing high, there's no structure that we've got off this trade. Our structure belongs down here. This was just the push of the open and slam down, right? So when we took this trade on this break right here, if we wanted to enter this trade at $100 a pip, what's our stop loss? At $100 a pip, our stop loss is right there. That next swing high, 10 pips. So we're risking $1,000 for this trade, right? That's it, because that's our stop loss. When it broke, price never even went close to our stop loss on that dot, and we slammed down. We're currently setting at, 287 pips. If you enter that at $100 per pip, you're at $28,000, and you're risking 1,000. So you risked 1,000 to make 28. Could have been 5. I mean, price may have only went down to here and then started creeping back up. But the fact is, you're in profit enough to protect that entry. So the moment you get that big push candle like this, and you see price down here start creeping back up, you're protecting your entry right here. Okay. Because you're trading $100 a pip. You cannot get 100 pips of drawdown when you're trading $100 a pip, when you're trying to, keep your risk management really close. So you're going to protect that entry. That way, if price comes up and hits you, you still make around 150, 200 bucks, and you never lost that trade risking $100 a pip. Hell, on this one, you could have went in with $200 a pip, and you would have been risking $2,000 to make 60K. This is the type of stuff that I like these dots, because it gives you a clear identifier of where you're putting your stops. Okay. So no matter what we do, as long as you've got that swing high, swing low, even here, we got a swing low, we got a swing high. Crap. All right. We're going to look for sells. So we're going to take that trend line. We're going to go right there. All right. Price comes and breaks. Where's our stop loss for this trade? Right there. So you could enter this trade right here at $100 per pip, and you're risking $1,100. How much did we win? I don't know. Price went down. It came up, went down. We know that this dot down here is our TP that we're trying to hit, right? Because this is our stop loss. It never comes up and hits it. Never comes up and hits it. Boom, TP. So from here to here, right there, took you 69 minutes at 23 pips. So you literally just made $2,300, and you were risking 1,100. So that is why I love trading these swing high, swing lows. Now, if you've got a swing high that's 400 pips away, that's a different story. Now you've got to calculate your big risk on it. So if we go here, let me pull this over real quick. Come on. Sorry, I've got so much stuff running in the background today. Let's see. Let me do this real quick. Clear this off. All right. So with this one, come on. My poor computer is not having a good day at all. I can zoom out then. Yeah. All right. So here's another prime example of. So right here. So we're looking for that trade. We got our swing low. We have our swing high. So we found our structure. That's about the structure I'm going with right there on that wick. Not the best, but it gives me the best angle. When price breaks right here, our stop loss is now right there. So we got to measure this out. So we say that's our stop loss. If we break on this trend right here, measure it out. All right, 23 pips. If we were to break up here, kind of close to it, all right, 72 pips. So, 7 pips. So we're like, all right, if I've risked $100 per pip, all right, bam, there's your entry, $100 per pip. That's $1,800, but that's your stop loss. And look, you never really got where you wanted to. You got down as low as almost 4K. And then you got back up. It's only $300. Drop back down, $3,500. You know, at that point, you got to say, oh, I need to close half. If you close half, protect your entry. You got knocked out right there. So you risked all that. It never went back up and tested that. But if you don't protect that entry, this right here is a perfect example of what happens. Because if that's your entry right here, none of this price ever got near it. And you had the opportunity at one point right there to make $4,500, $4,500 to risk $1,800. But if you did not protect that entry because you're looking for more, the greed set in, everything set in. When price right here came up and you're like, oh man, we're about to drop, bam, it gets you. Now, if you have your stop loss up here, when price comes up and hits you, you just lost $1,800. If you protect your entry, you didn't lose any money. You broke even and you already closed out half your profits down here. It's very simple, man. So simple. So let's go look. Read some questions here. What's the goal for the account by Lost in a Ferrari? Actually, the Ferrari is for sale. Y'all heard it first. And I've got two buyers that are fighting back and forth for it at the moment. So we'll see what happens. But the Ferrari hopefully will be gone within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So the goal for his account is get it to 100K. That was just the goal. Get it to 100K. And at $100,000, I'm going to ask him what he wants to do with it. If he wants to buy a new motorcycle, we'll buy a new motorcycle. If he wants, I mean, his big thing is he wants a Porsche GT3. That he just loves those cars. Obviously, he's only 7 years old, so he can't drive it. But I have absolutely no problem buying him a Porsche GT3 and setting it in the garage, and it'll be a car that he sits in. And, you know, we can sit in it and drive it around the block. Me and him can go out and drives in it. May just sit in the garage and he sits in it and plays in it. And then when he turns 16, that's his. And he can say, I bought that car when I was, 8 years old. He may be 8 by the time we get to 100K. I have no idea. Well, I mean, it's going to take longer than that, obviously, because $100,000, they want to pay for half the car. So it would probably take us at least another 3 to 4 months to get it there. Or he may, he's getting to a point now to where, like yesterday, I was like, well, Austin, you want to trade? He's like, Dad, yeah, just for a little bit. But I think it's time for me to take a break. Which sometimes he listens to me talk. So he tries to tune in with what I'm saying. He's like, yeah, Dad, I think I need to take a break. Like I can feel myself getting stressed. And it's like, bro, you don't have no stress. You have zero stress. You just heard Dad talk about it and you're just trying to fit in with the talk. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. That's what he wants. He wants a GT3. But he may say something different. My kids surprise me. Sometimes like with Lainey, when Bitcoin went up and we pulled that money out, she's like, Dad, I want to give half of it to St. Jude's, and then I want to give half of it to the community kitchen to feed the homeless. So I never know what they're going to say. He may say, Dad, let's spend $10,000 on blankets and jackets. Wintertime's coming up. I have no idea, but you guys will be the first to know because we'll make a video of it. That's why those top stop losses are crucial with high lot sizes. Yes, hands down, very hands down on that, Chris. I'm throwing away my Macs and getting a window laptop. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, man, it's proper tools or everything. Ask a mechanic. A mechanic is, hold on, what's that about to yawn again? Well, didn't yawn and I didn't even mute myself. So you guys got that on video. Ask any mechanic. They're going to tell you with the right tools, they can do the job, twice as fast and more efficient. If you don't have the right tools for what you're trying to do, you're always going to be behind. Always. And you're always going to have to rig something and you're always going to wonder if it's the right way. There's a reason the right equipment and the right tools do the job. And again, nothing against Mac. I'm a Mac guy. If I pull up our device management right now on my phone, and I'll tell you, I've got it right here. And that will give you guys a general idea. Google Home. And let's see here. So right now, on our device, I don't know why I make that sound. So yeah, we got 27 connected devices in our house. And of those 27, only 4 things are TVs. Okay. So that's 23. And then of the 23, I've got my PC here. So that's 22. So 22 other devices in this house are all Macs. we've got iMacs, we've got MacBook Pros, we got MacBook Airs, we got iPads, we have iPhones, all that stuff. It's all Mac. But there's some things I take serious, and that's my trading. I take trading serious. And when I take trading serious, I want to know that I'm trading with the best equipment that I can possibly have. Hands down. I don't need anything to mess me up. So I choose the Surface. Let's see. Hey, Andy, how can I get this template again with the swing high, swing low markers? So if you go to Venmo, it is Andy Peters V. Just Venmo me $5,000 and I will send this to you right now. I'm totally joking. If you go to the Discord, go to the announcement section and you'll see where I've got it posted in there. It's called the 1M Andy template that's in there. Hey, I'm very new to this. For someone who's interested but standing on the outside with not much to risk, what basics would you go over? Baby Pips all day. The website is babypips.com. I just posted in the group. I think it's very, very important for people to finish Baby Pips. There's a handful of people that complete half of it, jump half into trading, and then it's a complete nightmare. And there's actually a picture. Let me share it with you guys real quick. Give me 1 second. Because a buddy of mine had sent it to me and I was like, man, I'm going to post that in the group. And then I never posted it in the group. But being on the call here just made me think about it. Yeah, it's this one right here. I don't know if you can see that well. It says it's the line for trading and the line for learning. And everyone is going straight to trading. And the line for learning, if you look, is showing you the path of money next to it. But everyone wants to go straight into trading. I've got people right now who have finished half of Baby Pips, and they have been trading for the last 3 to 4 months and have been very unsuccessful trading. And I'm like, why didn't you finish Baby Pips? I just want to get in trading. I didn't have time for Baby Pips. But you've had time to lose for 3 months. You've had time to really suck at trading for 3 months, but you didn't have time to. Well, I think I've outgrown Baby Pips. Like I already know the information it's trying to teach me. And then they'll start asking questions within different Telegram groups and this groups. And it's like, that was in Baby Pips, bro. That was in there. If you would have finished Baby Pips, you wouldn't be asking this question. So I can tell by when people ask questions, if they've truly completed Baby Pips, if they've truly studied. I can tell by the questions they've asked if they've taken notes on my Zooms. That's one thing I'm big on. I'm like, if you're on a Zoom of mine or you're an in-person class or anything, and you do not have a notebook out taking notes, I'm going to consider that you're losing trades or you're the best trader in the room. Because again, we say we can remember this in our head. We're like, we can remember all this stuff. You cannot remember this. I can promise you. There's so much information that spews out in Zooms, that spew out in meetings within other people's Zooms that they have, that if you don't take note, you're either a really good trader or you just really suck. One of the two. So I always say, Baby Pips all the way through, take notes of everything. If it's me, Q, Anthony, anything, and they're like, okay, this zone up here is a zone that should break. Okay. Why would it break on this zone? So if we're like, all right, well, if we're looking for a break at, boom, 350.032, go back and study what they're seeing at 350.32. And you may be like, oh crap. Okay. I need to screenshot this. And when the chart does this again, I've got to take this trade. Let's see here. One of my biggest problems is I'm not confident in trades. It's like I'm scared of losing. If you're scared of losing, don't trade because you're going to lose. And that's why I posted the other day let me see if it's still in here. I posted in our Forex chat a complete update of everything because, probably the question that I get a lot is, Andy, it must be so good not to lose. It's like, man, I don't know what y'all are talking about because I lose. I mean, we all lose. Let me see here. Scroll through. Okay, here we go. Prime example. So right here on the Son Father account that we're trading, that we started with $7,800. It's now at $61,000. I've had a maximum of 21 trades in a row that I've lost. 21 trades in a row that I've lost. That's a total of $6,540 though that I've lost in those trades, because remember, I'm running those tight stop losses on those. And when you think about 21 trades that you've lost in a row, that hurts. But here it gets even better. Out of my total trades in 4 weeks, we had 181 trades. Out of 181 trades, we only won 101. So we lost 80 trades. If I was afraid of losing those 80 trades that we lost, I would already give up. I'd been like, dang, I suck. I lost 80 trades, but I won 101 actually. And losses are going to happen. You are trading. In trading, there is not a single person that goes without losses, not a single person, unless you just have that season. For me, if you guys were following me back in March of last year, right around that COVID time, man, I had 3 months where, because I had everything linked to my FX book, and I had a 93% win rate. So 93% was my winnings because everything was perfect. Everything was going up. So it was easy. I was just having to find new entries or having to hold entries. But losing is just something that you have to come to grasp with. This is trading. And in trading, you're going to lose. You're going to lose all day long. It's how you come back from those losses. So for me, it was hard to take those consecutive losses because you got to remember, 3 losses, I'm out. So we would take 3 losses and we're like, all right, we're out till tomorrow. The next day would come. Take 3 trades. We lost all 3. All right, cool. 24 more hours comes. 3 more losses. It's like, holy cow. Okay, something's got to give. Something has to give. What are we doing wrong? What are we looking at wrong? So even I have those moments, and you just have to forget about it. I mean, you're going to lose. As long as if you're losing because you're following the rules, there's nothing else you can do. If you're losing because you're not following your rules, that's where you have to self-evaluate. I would like to take your course. So I don't have a course at the moment. I do have a 4-week class coming up that I talked about in a Zoom. So if you go to the announcement section in the Discord, you'll see the Zoom markup where I talked about Discord and the upcoming class. And I've got details about that in there. And we've got more stuff coming on that next week too. Link to Discord. Yeah, I forgot. Some people are not in the Discord. And just because you guys joined the Zoom on a Friday, I got you. Give me 1 second here. I got you guys. Bam. All right. Let's see. Baby Pips is free. Yep. Baby Pips is free. And all the information, I'd say 70%, probably 60% of what I talk about is on Baby Pips. So all free. Back test. Yes. Back testing is very, very important. And man, here's the thing. I'm not a big back tester guy anymore because I hate going back and back testing and looking at stuff and all that mess. It gives me a headache. But I will say this. We have some people in our group that do amazing jobs at back testing. Isaiah is actually one of those people. So if you guys ever want to start, if y'all should get together like one, Saturday, Sunday, even one day during the middle of the week, someone get a Zoom, throw it in there, post up a Zoom link. And some of you guys go back and show these guys how you back test. Like, don't be afraid to hide your information, as well. I've got a lot of people who are so smart and thought, man, but I just don't know if I want to, I may tell people the wrong thing. Man, get on a Zoom. Y'all get on a Zoom together, mark this stuff up, have fun. Don't wait on me. I'm going to be around. I'm going to jump on. You guys can murder it. Chris says the note taking is crucial. I've been guilty of just listening and going back and note taking on the vids of previous Zoom. It has been huge. And Chris, congrats, bro. You're a boss, man. I've seen some of your trades, so congrats on all the stuff you've been doing. Putting ego aside, that's another thing. When you're on these trades, you're like, man, like I got this, because you have like 4 or 5 winning trades in a row. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I don't have this. This is not good at all. So let's see. Are the markups still available? So I've only been doing Zooms here lately, going over. I did some live trading, and then the swing high, swing lows. Markups start next week, where I'm going to be marking up within the MT5 and then sending you guys the template. So when I send you guys the template, you'll just be loading the templates for my chart markups that I've taken. Andy, when I add the templates MT5, it gives me the background of colors, but no dots or EMAs. Are you on Carbon Capital? That's very important because all of this stuff reads the spreads and everything that takes place on Carbon Capital for the swing high, swing lows. Tips on letting a winner run. I said tips on letting a wiener run. I find myself taking profit too fast to later see my trade surpass the projected zone. Man, just set a number for you. Find out. So when you say that you see a trade that goes past, find that average. So note take your trades and say, okay, the average trade I'm cutting loose at say 25 to 30 pips. However, it typically runs, to be 50 pips. Typically runs to be maybe 60 pips on average. So then you can adjust to say, okay, every time it runs 45 pips, I'm going to cut half, or 35 pips. Find that average of where you see that you cut it too close. Once you get that average, you're good to go. Let's see here. How much are we journaling to see where mood is? Yeah, I mean, journal everything. I've said that since day one. That's going to be a game changer. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think a lot of fun. All right. Well, guys, I hate to have to jump off the meeting. Don't forget, we had that quick little markup right there. We got that little drawdown, still looking for TP. So when I say high risk, our stop loss is way up here for stop loss, because that is the 1 minute. That's where the last push would be. So one thing that we got to remember is high risk trades always come with some drawdown. So we'll keep an eye on this and see where it goes. We finally got that swing high marker. So if you're trading on swing high markers, now you find your structure, and that right there could have been your structure if you're patient. If you were not patient, the structure that we had was right there, swing high. You're looking for sells, but our entry, unfortunately, was down here. Again, high risk, bam. So that way, if you want to mark this up just to see how a high risk trade would have taken you, you would know. You guys see the market shooting up anytime? Not even looking for the market to shoot up anytime because the move has already taken place. So right now I'm just on the sidelines seeing what is going. So far as downloading correct applications and brokers, how should I begin setting up my PC for trading? So the broker that I recommend is Carbon Capital. You can see in my left-hand corner at the very top, that is who I use. They are an A-book broker. So A-book versus B-book, I highly suggest if people don't understand what that is, Google it. Better yet, you know what? I'll just do another Zoom on it soon. But basically, A-book broker, you're trading straight to the bank. B-book broker, you're trading to the bank unless they think that you are a losing high-risk person. Then they put you on this software, and every time you lose a trade, the broker themselves just keeps your money. So because of that, they're able to manipulate trades back and forth, and it's just not a good situation here. Stop loss hunting, all this stuff that takes place. So Jack, he owns a restaurant. Go in there and kill it, bro. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you jumping on real quick. But guys, I hate to cut it loose. I'm in a wedding, and I've got to leave the house in literally 45 minutes to head to a wedding. I've not showered, gotten dressed, anything. So I've got to dip off here real quick. I will get this video uploaded. We will see you guys on Sunday for some good markups. Have some fun on the charts. Yeah, and take that Discord, join in, introduce yourself. And again, I hope everyone has an amazing and safe weekend. And I hope, man, the guys that got this trade, I hope you killed it. And I'll talk to y'all soon.